How we doing this morning, folks? Happy Thursday. Not Maggot. Thanks for the monthly Jeff to Jeff wealth transfer. I don't know that we'll ever balance that scale, but we can tip it a little bit more in my favor, eh? Kava, hi. Thank you for coming in hot for over 2 years. Good morning, good morning. Open some boosty packs here. Travis, thank you for the 13 months. Good morning, good morning. I think right now I'm leaning towards I want a second Lucamine from this pack. Happy Switch 2 day. I suppose some people did actually get their hands on Switch 2, so. Pokemon nerd. Switch 2 day is really just a day of transferring data and downloading stuff. Yep. I'll do plenty of snapping today. I just had a couple of days all snap. I'm gonna do a little bit of pocket overmarker. I do not have a Switch 2 in my house. All of my pre-order things lagged out or timed out or whatever. Yeah, I loaded up Stoutland Glade for this morning, and I loaded up Skarmory plus the new Promo Ultra Beast. Oh, Wonder Picks are such a sad currency. What deck did you use for promo farming? 2 Guzzlord, 2 Darkrai, traders. This is definitely the easiest PvE promo farming event they've ever done because the EX is easily the worst EX they've ever had. So like, the EX the opponent is playing just doesn't get to attack half the time because the attack is double energy. It's awful. Yes, I agree, Kamikaze. There aren't even any really Switch 2 games I really want. I would like to play... The Switch 1 has basically always been a laggy potato. So just like, literally the primary upside to the Switch 2 will be getting to play the native Nintendo games that you can't get on other platforms on a piece of hardware that's not a potato. Alright, so this is Skarmory plus Metal Necrozma, and one of the Magnerna, or whatever her name is, that hits Pokemon with abilities harder. We probably need a second Pokemon here. I have 4 of those plus 2 Pokeballs in our deck, though. It's a shame we didn't have our copy of Giovanni here. I split Cyrus Sabrina with 1 Geo. Oh, I suppose Skarmory is a bit worse in a post-Guzma world, huh? Maybe I need a 5th tool. I went back and forth on whether or not I wanted a Poison Barb or a Poison Barb or a what's it called? I'm gonna sit on this for now, and I'm gonna go ahead and... Am I? I was gonna hit him. I'll save the Cyrus for lethal on the line. Getting a first knockout point here really doesn't matter when they're working towards an EX, I don't think. I suppose... Okay, maybe I did mess up. If I would have Cyrus'd this last turn, I could have Sabrina'd this. If they don't have their candy here, we get them. They need candy or another basic. Rats. I guess the other basic doesn't save them though, right? Because they need the Solgaleo this turn. If they don't have the Solgaleo this turn, I get to clear this and then I can Sabrina up the other one. Okay, so we're cooked then. I could draw another Duskbane. I need to draw another Duskbane. Or I need to draw Duskbane, or I need to draw the Magnerna, whatever her name is. Okay. We have Milady here. Lily is not enough to get them out of this because they take 10 from their Soulbreaker attack. This is not a whale channel anymore. This game has been too expensive to whale in. I am no longer purchasing cosmetics in it. Do they think they're stranding me here? Yeah, rewarded for holding Cyrus here. Actually, the Sabrina would also do it, yeah. I had to take this knockout. Alright, they're cooked. Rewarded for being patient here. Getting to see the Lucamine flex on letting us attack with both of these as well. Felt really good. This card has numbers that make a lot of sense, I think, especially alongside Lucamine. Skarmory's always been looking for a really good pairing to support it. Oh, what was that 14 minutes into the stream? 100 on a non-EX, being able to jump up from nothing. So is really the being able to jump it up from nothing is a big deal. Like, you have no what's it called energy on it, and then like your Lucid Beam comes up and you just clear it. Yeah, the person who commented, they've officially released Mercury and Hellion and Snap. We'll be checking those out today for sure. When we switch over to Snap later. They had accidentally given them to some people, and then they changed it over later after the fact. You're the same category as Turtonator. I think it's much better than Turtonator, just at a low bar. And like Turtonator seemed like fringe play, but like the ability to have it be a surprise is the big thing that like they clear your active, you have no energy on it, and then it comes to the front, you play your supporter, then immediately clear. Necrozma EX is not a remotely playable Pokemon Pocket card. I think you could make it a compelling argument it's the worst EX in Pokemon Pocket. 100. You look around at all of the other cards in Pocket, at 120 points of damage is a damage line that's largely been power crept, unless you have something really powerful like Buzzwole around it. And then you combine it with the fact that it's a 4 energy, 120 damage attack that requires 2 different types of energy. It's just like so atrocious. Fat Astronaut, let's get you a mod sword to go with that sub shield. Thanks for hanging out for an entire year. Appreciate it. I've seen a lot of people trying to cope that EX Necrozma is remotely playable, and it's very sigh-inducing. I'm really sad they finally gave us the EX Dragon and it's bad. This card, I think both of the other ones in this pack are probably pretty serviceable because of Lucid Beam, though. This one hitting for 100 for 3, and the other one that self-damages, I think are probably both things you could play with. I think we get a shortcut that almost any free EX they give us is unplayable at this point. Yeah, almost. They even released a booster pack where you got to pick your favorite free EX, and like most of the EXs in the pack were unplayable, so. Perfect. So we got all 3 of our dorks. We're playing 2 Necrozma, 2 Skarmory, and then I've got 1 Magnerna here. This does 80 to Pokemon that have abilities, which is a lot of Pokemon right now. And then we've got 2 copies of Leaf, so that way in openers like this, where Necrozma is our lead, we can go ahead and pivot it out to one of our other starters here. Doing the old Metal Arms. I think Rayquaza EX is definitely the best promo EX we've had so far. I think that card is somewhat serviceable and not entirely embarrassing. I am playing 1 Geo for trying to snipe these 60 HP basics, but there's just so many supporters you want, right? You need Leaf to fix your bad leads. I've got a 1-1-1 split on Cyrus, Sabrina, and Geo in this current build. Alright, Lucibede is a lovely pull for down the line. It means that the Duskmane here is going to get nice and set up. Okay, so they have all their Pokemon. I would have put this energy on here, we could have cleaned this out. Maybe I should have put the energy on here. Oh, I can hard retreat. I always forget that that's a line. Yeah, that's the play, right? We get to have our cake and eat it too. Am I putting this hat on someone? I'm gonna put this hat on the Magnerna on the bench just to make Mars and Red card less appealing. I don't want to put it on here because if I draw a cape, I want to put a cape on here because cape on here lets us survive a Soul Breaker. So, Sabrina and Cyrus, both lethal here. Cape, also excellent, but the opponent's deck does tend to play Guzma. Is a call out. We could lose this here still. In an okay spot, but not out of it yet. Only have 2 cards in their deck. There's a good chance the Goose is coming for us. Need a heal and a Goose. Well, this one needs 2 energies to attack, so. Okay, and then this means that we should be good to go from here. There's plenty of energy in here, yep. I'm gonna put the energy on here now, so that way they can't do what's it called to get rid of it. And now they're going to 30, which means even if they have another Lily, they're only going up to 90, and then they go down to 80. So we should be good to go from here with the second Duskmane. I think this card's super real, chat. I don't know that, like, as always, you know, I'm never 100% certain on, like, the details of what we're working on. There's always things to tune and optimize, but the numbers on this card make a lot of sense. Oh, could Guzma have still gotten us there? Yeah, it could have, you're right, because the Guzma would have knocked it out with the Giant Cape. That's a good call. Close game. How awful were people being that you had to turn off comments on the YouTube? I don't know that it was necessarily a particular, like, people were especially nasty, so much as I've just kind of gotten worn down over the last 7 months. For people who it's not abundantly clear, I don't know, maybe it's clear for many of you at this point, but I'm marginally dyslexic, and I also have a small speech impediment, and that combination of things means that I don't say most of the character names I'm not familiar with correctly. And just every single video for 6 months, people constantly needling and just being kind of dicks and being like, haha, it's just, anytime I'd be like, hey, it's like not a big deal, people would be like, it's just you, why can't you take a joke? Ha, just a big Schrodinger's asshole energy, right? Just like, instead of being like, hey, we should like be more reasonable to someone, it's like, you're the problem, you can't take a joke. And I just, you know, and the reading comments wasn't making my life better, and the YouTube Pocket channel really doesn't make much money compared to the other parts of my content. So I made the decision that why am I making myself feel bad reading these for really not making much money? So I chose to remove a part of my content interactions that were making me feel frustrated to improve my quality of life. And I'm sure there's gonna be people that are like, they're like, oh, you're such a little baby bitch or whatever, but life's short. Removing toxic negative interactions from your life is a huge quality of life increase. Like, there's always gonna be more of it. I know some people are gonna be annoyed with it. There's been more dislikes on every video since I turned the comments off, but like I said, I want to make it very clear, I am basically only making Pokemon content because I like Pokemon content. From a revenue standpoint, Pokemon Pocket content has been a pretty abject failure for me. And it's so frustrating to hear people like, oh, you're being greedy. Like, the January month where I made only Pokemon content and I took a full break from Snap because I wasn't having fun with Snap, that was the least amount of money I've made doing content in 3 or possibly even 4 years. Like, my revenue took a huge hit because I chose to play the game I was having more fun with. And it's super annoying and frustrating that, like, people are being toxic dickheads when I'm just, like, trying to enjoy myself. You know, so I turned the comments off. I'm gonna leave the YouTube chat over there in members only mode. I'm gonna play Pokemon Pocket when I'm having fun, and we're gonna play enough almost assuredly to get some daily deck highlights up over there, because they make, as long as the YouTube channels make it enough to pay the editor, and as long as I don't lose money on the YouTube channel and I'm having fun playing the game, I plan to be here having fun playing the game periodically while it's enjoyable and post videos for it. So as long as it's at least a break-even endeavor, I'm happy to keep doing it. All the game's fun. I like exploring decks and new cards, so I keep at it. Speaking of money, I'm gonna make a nominal amount of money by tapping an ad roll here. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna play some more of this pile when we get back. Appreciate you chilling. Don't go anywhere. It was not quite as bad as when I tried to do Runeterra content when I was over Magic the Gathering, but it was close. it was close. All right, hop on the bike here. For what it's worth, I find you very elegant, and there's no hint of your speech disability. So, the comments about my speech are a lot of people don't understand why I'm different, basically. And there's lots of comments of, why don't you just speak normal, Jeff? Because if you listen to the way that I speak, the parts of my words that I put some emphasis on, my bike sitting right here, is different than where many native English speakers put their emphasis. The why don't you just speak normal is a very common. And the Pokemon, I've always gotten that particular type of comment everywhere because my speech pattern is atypical for a native English speaker, but Pokemon, it's been a lot more frequent. I don't get why people care about something like that. It's the same reason shitty people point out anything that's different about other people. Yeah, I've liked the Pocket content too. Like I said, I'm here making Pocket content because I like the game. I just, like, as always with all the parts, like, you know, when I had my good years with Snap and I talked about how good Snap was to me, I'm also going to be transparent and talk about when things aren't great. Alright, going second with the Storko. Ooh, Fire Energy. Fire Energy is probably one of the spots where our Silver Cannon is not particularly good, because Stokezard does not have an ability. Neither does Incineroar. Oh, we've not tried Glade yet, but I did load the Glade deck up into my... I did load the Glade deck up into my editor, so... We'll probably be doing that at some point today. I'll play this one for a little bit to start. If we would have found Rocky Helmet here, we could have actually killed with Duskbane plus Lucamine next turn, yeah? Oh no, because Silver Cannon's only dealing 40. I'm dumb. Ignore me. Oh. Speaking of Glade, where's my Glade now, huh? Hey, Ferpsy, thank you for the almost 5 years. I'm glad you're on phone with the Decidueye deck. Yeah, it's one I want to revisit at some point. Add a lot of really fun sequencing lines. And then I think we're just dead to Lily here, which is kind of how this Charizard deck works. When they have rare candy Charizard Lily, you mostly just die. The rare candy gameplay is not particularly compelling, which is why I've been trying to work on other things that don't have those in the deck. It's very, very, very linear, and did they assemble there? And a lot of the times it's not even did they assemble a 3-card combo, it's did they assemble a 4-card combo. Because you can keep up with rare candy like this deck kind of showed a lot of the time. It's when they have the rare candy together plus the Lily, you're like, alright, I guess we're cooked. For my old Magic the Gathering players, that's basically like playing against Tron. They're like, alright, they had their Tron pieces plus Karn, I guess we're dead. Is Leaf Felt versus X Speed. I think you need Leaf in this deck, so that way in the games where you lead on the Necrozma, you can pull it out and not miss a beat attacking with your Skarmory. I'm not gonna distribute other Pokemon tools here because Guzma knocks them all off and my hand isn't in danger of being oversized, so. Usually when I'm taking tournament deck lists, I cut copies of Mars or Red Card for, like, potions or capes or Sabrinas or Cyrus, depending on what it feels like the deck would most benefit from. They have double Celesteela here, so they could buy a bunch of time just thrusting these out to build up this, and I wonder if they're just going to try and solo us with the big beat. Yeah, or if it's a stage 2 deck and the tournament deck wasn't playing any stage 1s, I think you should almost always have one stage 1. That's the card people usually greed to cut to fit in things like Mars and red card. Hey, look, rewarded for holding our tools back. A buddy of mine pushed into Masters with a basic plain deck with Rocky helmets. Yeah, I mean, I really can't emphasize enough that the number one thing for finding success in these games, there's two things that in my opinion will give you success in most of these card games, Pocket included. The first is finding a deck that you like playing is worth a lot. I think in general, gamers incredibly underestimate how much better they will perform if they're playing a deck that they like. And two, you just need to play a lot. So once you have a deck that you like and you enjoy the play patterns of it, even if it's only okay, and then you play it a bunch, especially like off meta things where like your opponents aren't going to be super familiar with it, like a Blaine deck. Like even if it's a little bit below power level overall, it's still going to be very serviceable. If you were to try hard just for climbing, what do you think is a ladder efficient top tier deck? I the Soul Galeo deck, I don't know that I would find the play patterns particularly fun on it, but that's definitely a hyper efficient deck, right? Like it's a top tier deck and it wins very quickly with rare candy. I would probably, of the top meta decks, I think this one's the most interesting just because it has more choices with your ultra thrusters. I think if push comes to shove and I want to pick a more stock meta deck to play, it's probably this one. You have any thoughts on the Dawn Wings? I think that card's probably playable. I think Lucidbeam makes these 3 energy Ultra Beasts very, very serviceable. Okay. Thoroughly wasted some time here, I suppose. They did the math. Yeah, they must not have realized when they first put it up that the Rocky plus whatever else would have cleared this. We really need an Ultra Beast ASAP here. Just gonna do this because every point counts. I think we're probably cooked here. I guess if they don't have a heal, I could top deck the Ultra Beast next turn still and get him with Lucidbeam. But usually the opponent's deck plays 2 Ericas. Yeah. So, For those that aren't familiar, haven't seen the Buzzwole deck, Big Beat can't be used during the next turn, but pulling a Pokemon back to your bench removes conditions that effects like that apply. So they get to go ahead and use their Ultra Thrusters twice to shuffle in and out and get to use the Big Beating in here. So we're 1 in 5 to find our Ultra next turn. A bit delayed, but thank you for your honest comments about the amount of fun you've had with the game versus the amount of revenue made. It's rare for creators. Never forget, chat, that you can and should talk about the amount of money you make, especially with people who are your employees. The only reason why it is considered taboo to talk about the amount of money you make is because people being afraid to share details about their income is a capitalist tool to pay everybody less. If your workers are not familiar with how much people are being paid, they're unfamiliar when people are being underpaid for doing the same amount of work. The goal under capitalism is to pay everybody as little as possible while extracting the most amount of value out of them. Seize the means of production, my comrades. I think, unfortunately, our Dragon EX is garbage. A Doug Trio enjoyer happened to headbutt. What a funny attack name. I've not played Ranked Linkly. Is Dark Tina still everywhere? We haven't played against it at all yet this morning. Dark Tina was one of many decks that had reasonable success in our first round of tournaments. I would love a Rocky helmet. Thank you for asking. Play this dork out now. By the numbers from our meta report earlier this week, Dark Tina is one of a handful of decks that still have very reasonable metrics. Oh, they don't have their EX on time here. That's good. That's good for the home team. Oh, hitting heads a bunch is real good. This card's a Farfetch that evolves. It's pretty strong. I'm actually not going to put a cape on this because it still dies with a cape to type null or to Silvally with a supporter anyways, and I don't need the cape to knock this out, so we do this and take our point. If they have Silvally plus supporters here, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Yep. So we're not just dead yet, but obviously not in a good spot. First energy advantage was a huge deal in tandem with the fact that they hit double heads on their Diglett, right? If either of those two things break differently for us here, I think this game looks very, very different. But unfortunately, both of those things happen for my opponent. Alright, well, they could Celebi their way out of this game by bricking a bunch of tails, but statistically we're going to be dead. The Marvel Rivals Auto Battler is up tomorrow. I think it goes live like 15-ish hours from now, like in the middle of the night my time. Alright, we just need one triple tails, and then Sabrina finishes them up, yep. Marvel Auto Battler. Marvel Rivals is adding a drafting Auto Battler mode as a limited time game mode. It goes live for the public overnight tonight, US time. Alright, they had 2 heads to start the game, so there was some tails, yeah. Yeah, this is well played on their part. They're taking that. Wait, what? Okay, well now you really deserve to lose. Cool. Sometimes there's justice in the world, chat. We know for a fact they have their evolution. Poetic, really. Good night. They did Celebi their way out of it. They did, yeah. Marvel Snap reworked their economy in May of this year to make it a bit easier for new folks to onboard and get the specific cards that they want. You still don't get everything instantly for free, but there's a better, more clear path to getting the things that you care about than there was before. And more importantly, their economy rework removed the element of FOMO. There's no longer like a rotating gotcha style character banner, where once the card leaves, you feel like you've missed out. That's really nice. That's the biggest improvement to it by far. Morning Rand. Are you still aiming for Masters? I would like to put forward I've never aimed for Masters in Pokemon Pocket. I'm pretty painfully or acutely aware, however you want to put it, of the fact that trying to hyper-focus on particular ranks is a good way to make sure you don't have any fun playing games like this, so... If I hit the rank, I hit the rank, and if I don't, we don't. You gotta remember, there's no meaningful prizes attached to achieving particular ranks in Pokemon Pocket. So if it's fun for you to work towards achieving something, you should have fun while you work towards it. If you hit it, great. And if you miss, you still had fun along the way. Interesting brew from the opponent. It feels like we're in an okay spot, though. They get to drive off and clear this Skarmory, but this is ready to go, and it does 80. Because Arceus here, look at that, the Fabled Luster being a downside. So fancy, so fancy. Look at all these delicious Pokemon abilities here. So our maid here does 80 if the opponent's Pokemon has an ability on it. There's plenty of those to go around here. Good night, my sweet prince. Good showcase for the maid there. Alright, well this deck has pulled us back through all of the points we spewed playing other things earlier in the season, so that's nice. So exceeding expectations to set a low bar here. Our deck definitely prefers having first energy advantage by a pretty significant margin, though. I pinned Nico earlier today. That's an excellent choice. She's a lovely lass. A lot of basics. So we died a Silvally plus a supporter, but they're not knocking us out otherwise, which is nice. Lacking another tool here to power up the second Skarmory is a little sad, though. Sedge. This is our second opponent in a row this morning who's flipped double heads while knocking off our tool. 3 tools, 2 research, 11 cards, so 5 out of 6. Lovely, sometimes lucky, rubber ducky. Alright, if they continue to brick on their Silvally and we find an Ultra Beast, we could be in a very reasonable spot. I guess they could also have Candy Rampardos would hang us out to dry. Well, there's the Ultra Beast. We're missing the Lucamine now. Yeah, I think we're dead, gamers. I guess Cape means this lives for a turn through a supporter. They've already played a Guzma. I needed Lucamine here is the problem. Could still top deck her, yeah. Any other game actions you want to take that are pointless before you win the game? Cool. Decane, thank you for the entire year of support. Let's get you a mod sword to go with that sub shield. Welcome back. I appreciate it. Crazy how good Sil Valley is. I don't think it's remotely crazy. It's got all the right numbers in all the right places. Alright, we have first energy advantage, which is nice. So we have Leaf with Helmet here, so if this hits the 50% turn to find us a Skarmory, we should be in a pretty good spot. On a Pokeball first, because if I research, I can't leave this out. Gosh, it's so unlucky. Turn behind on this attack. Basically give up first energy advantage because of that 50-50 miss. I think it's energy on here, actually. They don't have any Pokemon with abilities, obviously, but if I draw Lucamine after they knock this out, I can run back the retreat this and then have this clear. They have a cape as well. They don't have a cape, we have a shot. Nitsu, thank you for the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. We just need to find a Lucamine to be in it to win it, gamers. Another Skarmory could also keep us in it, I think. What's the math work out of here? No, we still go up a little bit short with the Skarmory, right? And we're 1 in 5 to find the Lucamine for the win. Which is what it's gonna come down to after our awkward miss on the Pokeball on turn 1. Never say never, but I would be shocked if our first Dragon EX shows up in any competitive results this weekend. That is not the lovely lady we needed. I know it's just anecdotes, but our ladder variety has not been particularly stellar this morning. What have folks at home experience been like? This Sil Valley, Rampardos, and Solgaleo EX have been almost all of the games that we've played so far today. I probably should have put a hat on this. Yeah, it's been mostly this deck and Solgaleo, and then little bit of Buzzwole and Charizard sprinkled in has been the experience today. I haven't seen any Dark Tina yet this morning. The other Baker, thank you for the half a year. Welcome back. And I think with them having first energy advantage again, we're probably just dead again. Yeah, I don't know. The gameplay just hasn't been hitting the same this season for me. Feels like a lot of these games are, did they have rare candy or did they have first energy advantage? Sometimes a combination of the two. But a really aggressive deck like Executor makes sense. I mean, I assume Executor just eats it really hard to Solgaleo. For people who have been playing the Glade deck, how is the Glade against the Rampardos, Silvally? On paper, it sounds like it shouldn't be that good, yeah? Yeah, water decks are dead and gone. Misty is fully AWOL. You know, maybe I should hold the Rocky Helmet in case we top deck Skarmory. Glade one-shots 2 energy Rampardos after it kills your dog and goes to 100. Yeah, that's fair. What do you think of the lack of balance in Pokemon TCG Pocket? Feels like first energy advantage is huge in this game. I don't think that's strictly true. In fact, I think decks like Stoutland are a good example of things that are like pretty happy to have first evolution advantage. I think a more accurate description of Pocket's balance isn't that it isn't there, as in you always want first energy advantage or you always want or always don't want it, so much as it's the gameplay tends to be a bit polarized towards which one you prefer. So like the decks that want first energy advantage are significantly better when they have it, and the decks that want first evolution advantage are significantly better when they have that. I don't think it's accurate to be like one is strictly better than the others. I assume we're retreating here, yeah. We are weak to metal and not fire, which is great for us here. And even if we don't heal from the burn, we get to live, which is great. Get to heal, though. Our lovely Vulpix coin. The old metal arms. Gonna come down to how many lilies they have here, I wager. Some tools here. Some other Pokemon to play out. Lovely. This dies in 1 to the smash regardless. It's going to play my cards out to make red cards and Mars less effective. Have Lucamine here. So if they don't shuffle our hand away, we get to clear this out next turn, which is nice. Although, I guess if they have second Lily, that's not the case. Oh. That's all she wrote. You don't play Red or Giovanni in this, I'm guessing. You'd guess wrong. I just have to Lucamine as my supporter for the turn, and I can't Lucamine and Giovanni. I didn't have 2 energies in my discard pile to put the one with the helmet up first. I would have needed to start putting energies on the one with the Lucamine earlier, and that would have lost to Cyrus. If you want my thoughts on which decks are good in this expansion, you should check out the meta report. That's a data-driven report talking about which decks are performing the best that went up on Monday on the YouTube channel. Rather than talk about feels, we try to deal in reals here. Kono Chaos, thank you for the half a year. Welcome back. Speaking of Giovanni. Dodge a candy, we can dodge a ball. Survey says sometimes lucky, rubber ducky. I'm gonna not play this out because of Guzma. That dork knocks all your tools off, so I want to give him that opportunity. I really haven't found a deck I love this expansion, if I'm being honest. A little bit of a struggle so far. Alright, and then they're dead to Lucamine here if we top deck her. Because we'll get to retreat this to put a second energy in the bin and then clear them with Duskbane. Lovely. Sometimes lucky rubber ducky. Big damages. I don't know where on the burst. I'd like to play the poison deck, but I'm unlucky in pulls. I mean, maybe your pulls are just trying to save you from yourself. The deck's pretty mediocre. What's your favorite full art in the game? There's so much good art in this game. It's tough to pick just one. One of these games we're going to have first energy advantage. It's going to be glorious. Well, I saw this one running around. Is this going to be the type null Blaze deck? Rocky helmet I wanted for Christmas. Oh, there's Still Valley Charizard. That's interesting. No, Pokemon Pocket does not do live balance. You should have 0 expectations of any changes to any cards in this game at any point. They balance through aggressive power creep with a new card pack every month. Which, speaking of, I haven't poured over the data mines recently. Is there a data mine card pack coming at the end of this month too? Are they going to keep on the 1 per month trajectory? I have marked some damage on this Charizard, I think. Is a data mine June pack. 26 or 27. Cool. I think that would track. 26 would be a Thursday release like they've been doing. Morning, Jude. It just feels like all of our Charizard games go exactly the same way. We're like this close to getting them, and then they have the candy and the lily just 3 or 4 times now this morning. All right, we hit Lucamine, so I've got that going for us. I think Lucamine means we have a shot. I get to take. They could have second Lily. That's been the story too. They keep having second Lily on top of it all. So we get to clear this, and then they stoke, and then we energy and hit them, and then we can energy this one. Oh, I can't energy this one up because I have to keep putting energy in here. So we need to hit the other Lucamine is what we need. I need to not have Lily, and I need to have the second Lucamine. Which, we're 1 in 5 and then 1 in 4. So not nothing, but we do also die to their second healer at any point. They probably just think we're not playing cards like Leaf, yeah? So I guess most people aren't playing those types of cards right now. This looks like it's generating tempo for them, but we're playing this card to fix our leads. Burning Pokeball here to make Mars and red card worse. Alright, 1 in 4 to win, assuming they don't have second Lily. Second Lily puts us to a 0%er. turn. Our turn to have 2 of our supporter gamers. Sometimes lucky rubber ducky. Full art, mommy is home. Well, I feel like I can stamp exceeds expectations on here. This card with Lucimi definitely feels like it's got a relatively real stat line. I'm finished up some amount of points after an hour or so here. We can take a brief pause for the cause to let some adverts go. If you're new here, I always take a brief break from gameplay because I think it's kind of rude when streamers put that right over the top of their game. So here's this deck list up. We're going to play something else to get back. We're going to try some Glade Stoutland when we return. Thanks for chilling. Don't go anywhere. If you're watching on YouTube, consider tapping the like button. Doesn't cost you anything. It helps the content reach some more people. Appreciate the over 200 folks that have done that this morning. Crocodile. Crocodile is not a remotely playable Pokemon pocket card. We're gonna do some rare candy gambling. The Psychic promo has also felt reasonable to me. Yeah, I think the Psychic promo is probably fine as well. We'll explore that one at some point. I think I got 2 of them. I gotta double check. The metal one was the first one I wanted to play. I wasn't really paying attention to the other ones I opened. Booner, thanks for the half a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Is the double swap with Buzzwole a bug? It is not. It was working as intended. Thoughts behind taking out Sabrina or Cyrus? The point of... I didn't take anything out. I said I wanted to play these 2 Pokemon, and then I put these cards together. I'm sure we could play Sabrina and Cyrus. We could cut our sustain for Cyrus. So basically we have X-Speed and Pokemon Communication here as consistency cards. And then we have Giant Cape and Lily as sustain cards. So we could cut one or both of our sustain cards for a thing to grab the opponent's Pokemon. I kind of don't hate the idea of losing Giant Cape, honestly. Cyrus with our lower damage attackers is probably good. I think I want X-Speed and Calm for consistencies. Those are the type of cards people love to cut from these kinds of decks. People love not playing cards to make their decks consistent and then just complaining when they get unlucky. Yeah, that's true. Guzma being super popular makes Cape less good. I agree with that. But a lot of Goose. Alright, I mean, we have Tron in our opener here, which is really good for us. Jeff, in your view, is rank a lot of RNG? All card games are a lot of RNG. Pokemon Pockets, no exception to that. Life is RNG. It's true. It's a little pay to win as well, if we're being honest. Only a little pay to win. A lot pay to win? That's fair. It's a lot pay to win. So with weakness, we're still clearing this in one. So they're looking pretty cooked here, yeah? Just did. I added a full art Lily to the deck. Not a Lusamine. Nice artwork on the Glade. Yeah, it's a good one. Matching rainbows are lovely. Did I see they're adding streaks to Ultra Ball and not being able to downrank from Ultra Ball? So they announced that they're adding streaks and adding downrank protection, i.e. rank floors, to Masters and Ultra. However, they also announced that it's going to take them literally months to implement those basic things. So, the first of those two things, I forget which one, will get implemented at the end of this month. And then, I'll hold on to this for communication, question mark, I think. And the other one won't get implemented until the end of July. Win streaks are coming first, good to know. Alright, so we're gonna get to clear this with Glade, but Oricorio is a real problem we're gonna need Stoutland for. Okay, candy gives us half of what we need for the pup. Still holding on to this route because there's a copy of communication, so it gives us a third way to find the big dog, potentially. As someone who's worked in the systems department of a Fortune 50 company before, something I always like to tell people who aren't familiar with tech is you should never assume something is especially easy or difficult to do in a code base you haven't looked at personally. That being said, if Pokemon Pocket 6 months in already has so much technical debt built up that it's going to take them months to implement features that they already have for lower parts of the ladder, it definitely is some red flags in terms of what their dev and everything setup looks like. And I hope they will consider investing more resources into making that be less problematic. They made $1 billion with a B in 7 months, and part of me would like to say, well, you know, they made so much money, that means they're gonna make things better, but the reality is, if the money machine is going burr for most companies, that means they have less incentive to improve things, not more. You know, you go to your boss and you're like, listen, we need more resources, this is broken, it's not working, we need to make this better. And your boss looks at the balance sheet and goes, the thing that made $1 billion in 7 months isn't working well? I don't think that can possibly be correct. It does not seem likely that the thing that made $1 billion in 7 months isn't working well. You're probably wrong. Just make it work. Are we done here, Oricorio? Nice Mars, by the way, gamer. We're Ultra 3, chat! We've successfully undone all the points we spewed playing bad decks earlier in the week. Climbing on up, do do do, do 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 do. With first energy advantage here, feels like we're in a real good spot, yeah? We have Dog Tron fully assembled. Need to jump right on up into the Stout and get the Sharp Fang going. Look at how stout it is, chat. Is that the mean mug of someone who's gonna let me down? Absolutely not. Give that dog a piece of candy and it'll give you the world. Now, and here's the scary part about this Solgaleo deck is they're realistically gonna assemble 2 Solgaleo, yeah? Our first pup here is gonna give some disruption, but we're gonna need more than just this to win this game. We're gonna realistically need a second stage too, so we need to find either another candy or Curlia and co for Glade. The new EX Dragon Pokemon is not remotely playable. I'm sure there will be plenty of YouTube videos telling you the contrary, but it's real bad. I suppose this doesn't die in 1 to this. Could Stoutland solo this? Maybe there's a chance this actually solos, because they have to get up to 3. Definitely a case of first energy advantage being incredible for us, yeah. We both had our candies, but us having first energy advantage was a really big deal. And like they have their second Solgaleo here, but it's gonna need 3 energies to attack as well. I'm kind of surprised they put the energy on to attack there. I am going to not play this because I have Pokemon Communication in my deck, and this could be turned into a stage 1 for us. So all of their Pokemon need 3 energy to attack. So my big dog here is at 20, but it's going to get to attack a bunch between now and then, yeah? Are they cooked? I think they're cooked. I thought we were going to need a second stage too. I think this lead dog is actually set up to solo them here. With that stage 1 drawn, I'm going to play this other one out to play around Mars and whatnot a little bit. Because once they have to put a 3rd energy on this, it means Glade hits for 130, yeah? And to top it off, we found the candy for the other Stoutland too. So like they'd have to get through the 70 hitters on this as well. Yeah, Stoutland forced him to put more energy on for Glade to be able to hit it harder. Are you saying Stoutland is rough for our opponent? It is. It is, Doc. Very rough for our opponent. Go, dog, go. Go, dog, go. That was a good matchup against Dark Tita as well. Yeah, I'd buy that. I'd buy that for $1. Just gotta keep drawing our rare candies, chat. We'll be undefeatable. What's the best deck in the game? There isn't a clear best deck from our first week of tournament data. Get on over to the Hoaglandia Pocket YouTube channel. There's a meta report that gets posted every Monday talking about, from a data-driven perspective, which decks are the best performing and why, and what their matchups look like into each other. So be sure to check that out. I think Spraggle's Ultra Necrozma video is the perfect example of a phenomenal way to do genuinely honest clickbait that people want to engage with. His title says, "It's here with 2 new decks to try," and then the thumbnail says, "Broken or bad." And it's probably bad. And I haven't watched the actual content of his video yet, but I think the framing on that is stellar, and it's one of the reasons why I like Spraggles. He's good. He's good at the YouTube game, but also does a pretty consistently good job of threading the needle of engaging in the way that people who click on stupid stuff on YouTube want to click on his stuff, but he's not being dishonest about it. There's a lot of people who aren't terribly bright who are like, clickbait is clickbait, Jeff, and I think those people are stupid and dishonest. There's a difference between framing your video in a way that is intellectually honest, but just like that, broke it or bad, right? Like, I think that's a great way to put it. The title is very clear and straightforward. It's a very, very big difference than outright lying in a way that people want to click on it. As is the case with most things in life, it's not black and white, things are shades of gray, and not all clickbait is equal. Outright lying is not just the same as framing it in the way that the Necrozma video is framed. Midway Monster, thank you for the 6 years of support. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Sphinx, thanks for the almost 3 years. I appreciate it. Welcome back. I really like your Monday videos that are summaries because they take care to account for decks being overrepresented in the population. Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that enough people don't remotely account for when talking about data around tournaments. They're just like, these decks did well in the tournaments. It's like, well, while that's true, it's like, well, if 25% of the people in the tournament were playing it, you'd expect some of them to do well just through variance. This thing only has 80, right? Was not the stage one I wanted for Christmas. I think I'm just energy here and hoping to spike candy now. Ooh, this is a big punish for not evolving. I wanted to hold this in case we drew another pup, but good sequencing here from the opponent. Green Duck is so good. It really is. I could not believe how many people were cutting this card from their Buzzwole builds. So I assume they retreat here and thrash metal to kill this. Really? Okay. Well, if we could find that must have been a misclick, yeah? Candy? Candy? I guess... Well, like, even if you had Lucamine, you wouldn't need to do that, right? Because you would retreat and put energy on here, and then retreating would bid it, too. They're definitely not just dead, but... We are gonna die to a Cyrus long term. Lucamine plus Cyrus gets us. It's not just Cyrus. They need Lucamine and Cyrus. Which, to be fair, they're probably playing 2 of each. Average Pokemon Pocket experience. Maximum amount of BM possible. Alright, I'm gonna throw our deck list up on the screen. We're gonna take a pause for the cause, let some adverts roll. Appreciate everybody hanging out here this morning. We're gonna play a little bit more Pocket, then we're gonna dive on into the 2 new cards that dropped the Marvel Snap last night. Thanks for hanging out. Don't go anywhere. Anybody in chat that ended up trying to, like, go to a store to get a Switch 2 in person last night? Did they all sell out everywhere? Does anybody know? I kind of assumed that would be the case, so I didn't bother trying. Based on how the online pre-orders went. Costco is easy. I saw a couple people in the Discord say they walked right up. So that there's less demand than anticipated. I had a pre-order at Best Buy and there were like 200 people in the non-pre-order line. Let me check my locals. Or simply ask my wife to check our locals. I think the ones without the Mario Kart bundle were selling for $450, if I recall. Mario Kart bundle is like 500. Yeah. I think I'm opening on the dog. So that way, if we find the big dog, we can candy into it since we have Curlia here. First energy advantage seems like everything in this matchup. Opponent had that here. Speed out here and give him a hit. I guess when I drew the second candy, I probably should have candied into the Glade instead of using the Relts. It's kind of on autopilot. That's not the fire lead we want to see when we're on Glade. I have my candy. Do they have theirs? think we're just cooked from here, right? I guess there's a world where they don't have a heal and they don't have another one. But board to board, it feels like we're behind. I feel like I'm not talking enough during these games, but I also feel like I don't have anything compelling strategical to say. But like, does anybody feel like I'm missing something in these games? Like, is there something I'm doing wrong? Because I'm like sitting here trying to think about choices I could have made differently, and it kind of just doesn't feel like they exist to me. But maybe I'm missing something. Silver Oak, thank you for the almost 4 years. Welcome back. It feels like almost all of my decisions are scripted. Games this season feel incredibly aggro with Rookie. So I don't even think it's fair to just describe them as aggro. They're definitely fast, but like, as someone who's played a ton of card games, there are a lot of card game metagames I've experienced where the aggressive decks have lots of choices packed into shorter games. So Valley feels like it has more interesting choice than average. Yeah, I think part of that is because it's a 1 knockout point Pokemon, right? But even that, like, the best Sil Valley deck is also just like a rare candy get you pile. Do you know how many matches you're at so far for this season? Not a lot. Did I mess this up? Maybe I messed this up. Am I supposed to put an energy on here? I can't decide. Maybe I'm supposed to put the energy on Stoutland. We had a choice. I think I might have made the wrong one. Oh, that's interesting. Why are they not putting up the Rampardos? It's really good for us. I agree, swap this now because they messed up. We made a small mistake and then they did as well. Ferguson, thank you for the over 2 years. Welcome back. So we swap here, and now if they clear Stoutland with this, it has to have 2 energy, and then Glade finishes. And this needs 3 energy to attack us. See, I should have started on this instead of going into Glade, but then they went into their Silvally instead of going into Rampardos, so we both made a mistake back and forth here. Do they think they can attack here? Kind of hoping to hit our last basic, so we're insulated against Sabrina here. Yes, doggo! I respect making a mistake and not auto-conceding. The only time I concede in games is when there isn't a reasonable path for me to build to win from there. Unless opponent elected to give us a reasonable path to win. I don't think we win this game without our opponent making a mistake, given that we made a mistake, but we went 1-1 on mistakes, and we're gonna come out ahead because of it. Listen, it's kind of what Stoutland does in this matchup for you, right? It's like forcing the Rampardos to get a second energy. Let's Glade clear it on the back Kraken one, which is clean. Alright, we're going second. We have a little dog and a big dog just looking for a piece of candy. It's our first time queuing into this one. A lot of energy for not a lot of damage. We're going to hold on to this other baby dog, because we have a copy of Communication we could swap it out with. With the second Stoutland in hand, I'm going to play this pup out to make us a little bit better against Mars and Red Card. So we have another Pokemon to Communication with. Looking for candies and stage 1s. Alright, found part of what we're looking for. Glade clears Tina in one without a Capia. They have a Metal Energy on top here, which means Dawn lets them shoegaze us next turn if we don't get to Stoutland. So both our candies our communication and our stage 1 dog are in our bottom 5 cards. The Rocky Helmet means I can't clear this with Glade without dying to Tina. We're actually gonna lose, yeah? Because of the combination of variants plus Tina. I'm just double checking to think here, but there's no outs, yeah? Tina does 130, and then weakness gets them up to 150. Okay, got the full evolution line for this one queued up, and we have the big dog, found a piece of candy. How to communicate this other pup? We could find the middle evolution here for the back, yeah? And then no point in holding this because that's our only communication. This card, unironically, might be good in a deck with Giratina plus Dawn more so than this one. Giratina plus Dawn in an all metal energy deck would let you start hitting with this on turn 2. Them losing 2 energy here isn't a huge deal because they're Lucamine deck. Great, I mean, they're gonna get to attack for 120 next turn. But, like, we hit them for 150 on the backswing, yeah? And if they cape, I can switch to Stoutland and hit them, and then they have to have another energy, and then they die through Cape too. The EX card is trying to mill your key pieces before you can get set up. Yes, you're trying to mill my key pieces before I set up with a 4 energy attack that needs 2 different colors of energy very specifically. Tell me more about how you're beating me before I get going. And this game is kind of a textbook example of why this card's so clunky, right? Like, they did all this work, and they beat the variants here to have perfect energy advantage, and they even had first energy advantage this game too, right? And their thing got together, and their thing just isn't good enough. It's not just about the fact that it's got a bunch of variants in it. It's that it's got a bunch of variants attached to it, and then even once you jump through all those hoops and get it set up, it's still not enough to win the game a majority of the time. Like, if that EX Pokemon, like, had an attack that took over the game once it got set up, it could be really cool and neat to build around. Like, I think it's interesting to try and build your deck in a way to mitigate that energy variance with things like Giratina and Dawn and other stuff. It's just the amount of inconsistency you're going to have with the 4 energy attack like that, the payoff you're getting needs to be proportional to the amount of work you're doing and the amount of variance you need to overcome, and dealing 120 damage and milling 5 cards is not that. This is an interesting spot. Do I jump to Stoutland right away to avoid getting hit? I guess they're probably not hitting me, right? So I probably just work up through Herdier, save the candy for the routes. We don't mind having first energy advantage, or first evolution advantage opposed to first energy advantage when we're not using candy. And then this needs 4 energies to attack Stoutland. So it can't attack us next turn. So we go energy, evolve. Oh, wait. They'll be able to... No, they can't attack next turn, so they only deal 40. And then we'll have Glade set up after that. They're gonna let me hit the Darkrai? That seems really bad for them. They have double Cyrus? I guess even without double Cyrus, we're kind of in trouble here. Yeah, I need to draw my X speed. Yeah, I guess we're actually dead. No Marvel Snap today. No object permanence today, gamer. I used to hate the idea of location and stat, but after playing Pocket, I can appreciate that it made each game feel different. Yeah, I think that's really part of the innovation of Snap is Pocket has the small deck sizes of Snap, but without another outside source of variance. We have first energy advantage, but we don't have any of our Tron pieces yet. The Solgaleo board is so loud. There are some absolutely wild Switch 2 performance improvement videos in Switch 1 games. Well, it's because there's not actually performance improvements in the games themselves. It's just the same game code is backwards compatible on the Switch 2 software, and the hardware is no longer a potato. That's all that happened. They didn't optimize any code. They just like get to run the same code on hardware that's like from now it's a baked potato. Yeah. I haven't played or watched Snap in a while. They ever get card extras right? They did actually, yeah. Yeah, they got rid of the Spotlight cash system altogether. And they just give you a bunch of collector's tokens now. They added a Snap Packs booster pack style system where you can get a small discount, but you can also just not engage with the RNG at all and simply buy exactly the cards you want with tokens instead. And they got rid of the whole FOMO rotating banner. If you don't get the cards in the first week, it's going to be hard to get them type stuff. They genuinely, I think they nailed it. All right, if we find Glade here, they are very cooked. It's emulating the Switch 1 code. I would be incredibly surprised if the code is being emulated and not run natively. And maybe it is, but generally speaking, having an emulation layer in software makes it run pretty slow. It is emulation. It could be different considering they have the native code base that they're emulating, so maybe it's very efficient. Thanks, Mars. Appreciate you. Oh, that would be interesting. I guess a lot of emulators where things slow down are people reverse engineering stuff. They're actually different system architectures. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. Are they not both ARM devices? They're different chipsets? What is the Switch 1 and what is the Switch 2 for just for reference for my own? I had just assumed they were both ARM devices. The Switch 2 runs an NVIDIA chipset. Oh, that's interesting. It's still technically an ARM, it's just an NVIDIA ARM chip. Okay, well, that's the same architecture then, right? Like AMD and Intel chips are both x86, 64-bit, etc. They're different brands, though. The Switch one was NVIDIA as well. Okay, they're both NVIDIA ARM chips then, yes? Lily is not enough for this to survive a hit. Unfortunate. Oh, one piece of candy and 7 cards. Probably cooked here. This deck was fine, but most of the pocket decks right now, all of the rare candy decks feel very samey, for just lack of a better term. Like, there's a few different flavors of how they play out, but whether it's Stoutland, Glade, or Decidueye, or Charizard, Incineroar, or Stoutland, Gengar, like, I guess it was fine, but Decidueye was fine, and Charizard are fine, and yeah, I don't know. It just hasn't been hitting the same for me post rare candy. I can ready to play some Snap. They had two cards drop last night. I'm gonna kick on over that. Let an ad roll goes while it goes. I think I've seen you play Incineroar. I just usually don't play stock meta decks, and it's a stock meta deck that's just like the same as everything else. Isn't super compelling to me. We'll have daily Pocket videos continuing on the Pocket channel because I've got deck highlights built up. But I think my game plan is to stream enough Pocket to keep daily videos going over there. But I don't know how much we're gonna do. I'm not in love with the play patterns this season. So we'll see. I'm gonna keep trying and exploring other things when deck ideas come up. But a lot of it's been very samey. Yeah, I have this will probably be on the next one that we try. I haven't played any games with this yet. This is all 1-pointers at least, but okay, I'm over getting rare candied. I don't Cobalt. Like I said, it's all just kind of been a little bluff for me.